talking Wake Forest men's soccer with the head coach of the Demon Deacons, Bobby Muuss. Coach, thanks for carving out some time to talk.
No, thanks for having me. Happy to be here.
It was a successful season for you all. You make it to the fourth round of the NCAA tournament before bowing out to the number one overall seed. You were unbeaten in 7 of your final 8 matches to close out the season. For you, what was the most special part about this run with this team this season?
Oh, I mean, I just think I just got out of a staff meeting. We were talking on it. Like the only people that really understand the adversity that we went through this year is the 30 guys in the locker room and the direct staff. But yeah, I think it's maybe didn't start the season the way we wanted to start the season, and but again, it wasn't a bad start. It just wasn't maybe prototypical of what the expectations for the program are and for the brand. Um, and then we dealt with a lot of adversity in terms of injuries and not having the same guys available week in and week out, and the way we play, and it's from a rhythm perspective and a on-field relationship perspective. It was difficult, right, to have different lineups each week, each game, and I think is there was a turnaround in the point where I think our leadership really stepped up, and the guys were bought in on an each and every day basis to try to just get better and be the best versions of ourselves that we can be. And to see the group form the way they did into this resilient, embracing hard, right, and embracing the adversity that has been thrown at us, and relishing and flourishing in it was something that I'll never forget. I think even as a program, to say that you can go through these type of things and still come out and win an ACC championship, I think it's going to be something that helps us long term. As we met as a staff, is like, we embraced hard and adversity and won games in the best soccer conference in the country, that I didn't even think was possible, with some of the things that we dealt with this year. So it's encouraged me. It gave me a little reassurance that, as long as you have a group that truly believes and is bought in, and your identity sticks to what you want to accomplish each and every day, I think anything is possible.
You talk about that leadership, and one of the areas that leadership came from a player standpoint was a guy like Cooper Flax, who this week named a third team All-American. Just what did he bring to the team this season?
Cooper brings, an energy. He loves to play football, right? And he's got a great soccer brain. He's a great kid to be around. I mean, he brings energy each and every day. But I think his ability, he made big plays in big moments when it was needed. His versatility as Cooper, he's played 2 different roles for us. He's played as an 8 and played as a 10, a little bit more as an 8 this year, but rotated in the 10. His understanding, it's grown so much more of, at least in final third play, running in behind a little bit more, and doing some work without the ball. He's normally been an on-ball guy, but actually he's added a little bit more of his off-ball presence. And obviously scored 2 great goals this season in game winners by running in behind against good opponents, and a good finisher. So, but no, I think he's just a level of consistency that he's brought throughout the year. I think the overall leadership from what Prince Amponsa did for the group, partnered with Cooper Flax and being the captains on the field was pretty special, with our captain Christian Escamano breaking his leg earlier in the year. We needed some guys to step up, and that's when Cooper got the armband. And I'm extremely proud of what he did with that responsibility. He took it to heart. He knew the team needed some more leadership on the field, and did a great job.
For your program this year, you made your 14th consecutive NCAA tournament appearance. That's the second longest streak in the NCAA. When it comes to program building, how have you been able to consistently put together a winning, successful program during your tenure as the Wake Forest head coach?
I think, it's consistency in everything, right? Everybody likes to use the word culture, but culture isn't, last year. Culture is what you think and how you act, your behaviors, each and every day. And I think for this group is we're extremely meticulous on the little things that we feel have given us success, and the discipline and the structure, both on and off the field. And those are things that if you're winning, we don't turn a blind eye to. If you have super talent, you're still held accountable. And I do think the competition in every position is important, right? So when we recruit, it's not going to be easy. We say it's going to be hard, right? You're coming to one of the best academic institutions as well as one of the best soccer institutions in the country. And if you want to play at the next level, you should embrace hard. You should embrace competition, and that's what we try to do. And it's I'll be the first one to admit I'm probably not easy to play for, but the guys know I love them, and I'm doing it because I know what their goals and ambitions are after being here. But they also know that I want to win, and in order for us to win, we need to be consistent. We need to compete, and we need to get better each and every year. We just can't stay. When you have a target on your back, which we do have, right? I mean, you need to be, you know, with each and every day, it's like you got to be the best version of yourself, and that's my job and the staff's job to. It's probably tiresome for them, because we're always on them. Like coaches, give me a day off, but life isn't going to give them a day off either. So we're preparing them for life after football as well as football to play at the highest level if they do have those opportunities after school.
I know this is something that was started under Jay Vidovich when he was at Wake Forest, but it's continued under your coaching staff as well. The earn the jersey philosophy. If you could talk a little bit about kind of what that means for those that don't know.
Yeah, it's nothing's given to you. Like we when we go out on the road and we recruit, we're fortunate that we want to look for the best student athletes in the country in every position. And I think a lot of guys is you don't understand, right? You're the best player in your club or one of the best players in your club. Sometimes, right? The best players aren't always held accountable because they have talent and talent helps win for sure. But when you get here, nothing's going to be given to you. You have to earn it, right? And it's not just earning it on the field, it's earning it in the classroom, right? You're going to be competing in classroom settings with some of the brightest minds in America as well, same way on the field. So each and every day you have to earn the jersey, right? It's not going to be given to you. And okay, I just scored a goal or I just scored a game winner. That doesn't mean that you take the week off, right? You got to earn it the next week as well. And I think it's something if you talk to our alumni that are still playing or have jobs in the business world or in the medical field, they still talk about it, right? Because it's that competition each and every day to be the best version of yourself to try to help the team win, not only for your individual success. Those are special characteristics I think that are taught here that help guys have success after college.
One thing that stands out to me since 2015, you all have 111 home victories. So we all know how important it is to defend home turf. But what is so special about playing in front of the fans in Winston-Salem, North Carolina?
Well, we're a community. I mean, you have to realize is we don't have 30,000 undergraduates to 20,000 undergraduates, right? So, from a population standpoint, I mean, we're a little over 5,000 undergraduate students, but our community comes out and our student body comes out to support us, and I say it continues to be one of the best places to play college soccer. I think it's a quaint stadium that, if you have 1,000 fans, it's an electric atmosphere. If you have 3,000 fans, it's a special, and I don't know if there's better. And I think there's an excitement and there's a history about what's been accomplished at Spry in the past, the players that have played there in the past. That I think it's a special feeling every time you walk on it. Believe me, even as a coach and was here as an assistant and as a head coach, I mean, each and every day that I have an opportunity to coach or be in that facility, I do not take it for granted because I know so many people and special events and special players have played there. So the way the community comes out and the student body comes out, they're an educated soccer community as well. They know if we're playing well, and they know if we're not playing well. But they're behind us each and every year, and it does make it extremely special. And I tell the guys is yes, we play our fair share of home games in the regular season, but what these groups have done is they've earned home games. And I think that's taken for granted sometimes. Like, oh well, that means you just play a lot of regular season games at home, and we earned a ton of postseason games here the last 2 years between the ACC tournament and the NCAA tournament, and that's something we're extremely proud of.
You said something earlier about the ACC being the strongest soccer conference in America. I have long always said that the conversation about the top conference in the U.S. starts and ends with the Atlantic Coast Conference. Why is
Yeah.
the ACC able to annually, consistently churn out the best players and the best teams in college soccer?
Well, I mean, I think we have great coaches. I think we have great institutions that support the game in college soccer at the very highest level from a facilities perspective to um, just the way the student athletes are treated. Obviously, traditionally, the schools that are in the ACC have, we've attracted some of the best talent in America. And I think it's more of the competition day in and day out. I think we're battle tested, sometimes almost too much, right? It's a war each and every game. There's no wins on the schedule. I think it makes coaches better. I think it makes players better. There's not a week off that we have in terms of where is a win going to come. I don't think any conference has wins when it comes to conference games, but when you're looking at, you're playing against different formations, different tactical, identities of different opponents, different styles of play each and every week against really talented players. Success breeds success, right? I think is we have rivalries that I think, drive us to go to work each and every day and to compete and be better. And I think that's what makes this conference so special.
What did the additions of Cal, SMU, and Stanford do for the league this year?
I just brought in three very good teams, right? Just made it harder, right? I think it's obviously there's a travel component to that as well, which makes even a harder league harder. We fortunately at Wake Forest we did not have to go to West Coast this year. We went to SMU, which is no easy task. Actually, we went to SMU twice with the ACC tournament as well. But no, it brings in three great coaches, three great programs, and just a whole nother level of competition, especially if you had to travel to it. So I think is, two NCAA tournament teams out of the three, and Cal obviously right there at the end and made an unbelievable run and some really talented players with a great group there. So it's just made the gauntlet even harder.
Hey, no rest for the weary, right? As they say.
Oh, it's yeah, it's a different level. It certainly is.
One thing in college soccer we've seen over the last couple of seasons, the rise of the off-season leagues, the College Spring League up in Columbus. I know you all also host something in Winston-Salem, the
Yeah,
Spring Cup that involves
yeah.
a lot of ACC teams. How did that come about?
Well, we were actually the first league to do it in this area. U.S. Soccer, I think, 7 years ago, came to us and said, "Hey, we'd like to start something, and do you want to be a part of it?" And a bunch of us jumped on the opportunity. They scheduled it, and officials were like, U.S. Soccer, next generation referees, basically, and we used some of the rules, like FIFA rules, in terms of no reentry and the clock counting up and little things like that to try to make it a little bit more professional and like just try some stuff that we're not allowed to do in the regular college soccer season. And then when they moved in a different direction, a couple of us said, "Hey, let's keep it going," and we were able to. And myself, Mike Brizendine, and Grant Porter, the associated coach at Carolina, continue to do it. And actually, we just finished our schedule for this spring. And I think it's, you're training and you're always trying to get better to play meaningful games in the spring. I think just brings out the best in the student athletes. And, there's a big difference between playing five friendlies and playing five games that mean something because everybody wants to win. I mean, you're in the best soccer conference in the country because you want to win, you want to compete. So I think the additions in the past has been Georgetown, Maryland. This year, West Virginia will be in it. So we're really looking forward to another competitive spring with meaningful games. We're able to mix up some rules and that trigger some of the changes that come in college soccer, right? So we didn't do reentry last year, and we didn't do reentry second half in the season this year. So it gave us a little bit of an opportunity to prep for that. So any rule changes we see, we can do as well. But it just gives you something to play for, and the guys are a little bit more hungry on the weekends. I think it's been a really good addition to college soccer.
You touched on it a bit there, but my next question was going to be, how does the spring leagues sort of set the stage for the fall, especially in a world where I know there's been a lot of talk about the idea of maybe shifting college soccer to a fall spring model for the regular season. And so I'm curious, from a coach's perspective, how does a spring league best prepare your team for a fall run?
Well, I mean, again, it's our spring season is really when we start working on our individual development plans and really our individual development physically, tactically, technically, but then putting it together, right? Those individual development pieces to the collective development and really establish it. And you have some new guys sometimes coming in the spring, right? If it's transfers or incoming, we call them gray shirts, where they can come in and they can learn. But then from the really formulating your identity and how you're trying to play and transitioning some new bodies in, and then competing, right? And giving some guys some opportunities that maybe didn't get as much in the fall, and give them opportunities to play in meaningful, high level games in the spring. I think that's important. Now, the best part about it is we play one game a week, right? So you can prepare physically, you're ready to go. I think I speak for a majority of Division I college soccer coaches. We'd love, a 2 season model where you can prepare each week. And it's the same thing as like, why are some of the NCAA games so good? Is because you get a week of preparation, right? And from a tactical perspective, to a rest and a regeneration, mental focus and preparation is much better. That's a better quality game, right? Than what we do right now with a Tuesday, Friday, Tuesday, Saturday, or whatever, Thursday, Sundays for some leagues. So there's benefits in both for sure.
Coach, I really appreciate your time. Thank you so much. Congratulations on a great season for Wake Forest, and looking forward to see what comes for you all in the fall.
I appreciate you. Thanks so much.